Hello everybody. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I've done with the dash. We're going to finish assembling the engine, get it all wired. We're going to get that installed in the truck. We're going to do some final detail painting under the hood. I'm going to be doing some photo etch and probably more photo etch. We're going to get things carpeted and a whole lot more. So if you want to see that, make sure you stay tuned. Hello BSC family and welcome back to my bench. So yeah, like I said, we're going to get some finalized detail painting under the hood. I want to do up some battery wiring and stuff like that. We're going to do some stuff on the engine. I want to get starter wired. I've got, where is it, this here. I've got this Detail Master distributor kit, so I want to get that done in. And I want to get that whole engine installed. Now I've got that pretty much painted up. Transfer case, transmissions, all glued together. Still got the front belts and everything that's got to get glued on, especially if they put them the right way, like so. You know, get that all glued in, right? Stop screwing around and focus. So we'll get that all glued on. I want to get some wiring on the alternator. And I got power steering pumps, so I got some hoses that I want to make for them. Then we can start looking at making the exhaust. Don't know if we'll get to that in this video. Something else is, yeah, I started making a pattern. As you can see, here we'll back you out again. Started making a pattern for carpet in the vehicle. Now I went and bought some very thin, sticky back velvet, right? I don't know if you can see this. It's like nice black, but well, it's kind of hard to see, but there it is, a very low, thin pile, right? And trust me, it looks really awesome in the cab and the carpet. Now I'm also going to look into getting more and more colors. I wanted to try this, and this is the first vehicle I've tried it in, and pretty much instantly, it's awesome. I'm going to put a link in the description of where I got it from Amazon. Go check it out. It's like 0.7 millimeter thick, so it's less than a millimeter thick. It represents carpet perfectly. It doesn't look out of scale, nothing. I'll show you that in a bit. I'm actually thinking of using it for probably a piece of headliner on this truck too. So I only went and got black this time, but I'm going to get a multi-pack colors and do it that way. So something else I've been working on is the dash. Bottom's painted. I still got to do the pedals. Top is painted, semi-gloss black. Still some masking tape here. But I did the gauges. As you can see, they're nice and shiny in there. I used UV resin to make the lenses. That's very easy. Now, it's probably even harder to tell, but what you're seeing on there is actual wood. It's from a birch tree. I took the bark off, and this is pretty much part of it right here. This is what I used. Now with this stuff here, this one's already fairly thin, but I know that there's at least another layer on here that you could very carefully, and it takes some practice and other stuff, but you could peel this off. If I can get at least one piece to peel a little bit. Like I said, once you start getting down this thin, it starts getting a little tricky, a little tough, but it can be done. But anyways, yeah, it's real wood. Very soft, easy to glue. I just used tacky glue. You can use probably a white Elmer's glue, you know. So next thing I've got to do is paint this section down here with aluminum. All right, I'm going to paint this section aluminum down here. Probably paint the steering column shaft part here black. And then I've also got to paint this section aluminum, but I need to take tape off first. So grab that. Where's my tweezers? Here we go. So I got to go in here and I got to paint this area silver because I want it silver. Some trucks are they're a wood grain, but I don't want the wood grain there. But yeah, so silver in there, silver at the bottom. Then I can finish painting off the pedals, and yeah, I can put this in the truck. All right. Now let me show you the carpeting. Now I don't know how much of a difference you're going to see here. You see that carpeting? Now the carpet is only on the center hump right now. All right. And you can see where I've cleaned up markings and stuff because I always planned on flocking this, so I didn't really care about that. But I put my base color down first, just in case you see any gaps. And all I did was I used a piece of masking tape, put it on there, cut it out with the X-Acto knife, put it on the velvet. Same thing with the side pieces. Put it down, traced around everything. And then I ended up with this. Back out just a little bit for you. So there you go. Now this, all we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're going to take the backing off of it. Carefully. There we go. I try not to touch it, because you want it to stay as sticky as possible. Then we're going to take this. We're going to slide it in there. It shouldn't be that hard. And just for a little extra comfort here, we're going to grab you want to kind of keep the end up a bit from what I see. And then use something to gently push it down into place. You don't want to wreck the pile. See, it's not tight against the side wall, so we're going to lift it up just a little bit and kind of force it to go over so that it sits where we want it to. Now in this case, I had to cut around the gas pedal. Kind of sucks, but it worked. Same thing here. We're going to shove that way down against the seat and kind of roll it down into place. Come on, go. There we go. Now a lot of this at the top here, you're not going to see because the dash is going to be in the way. But once you get it tight down in the corner of the seat and against the door panel, then you can just kind of work it in. Make sure it's all well stuck down. Now, if you had different colors, or you could even use black again, and you could cut yourself out, draw on a piece of tape, draw, a floor mat, and cut it out, and you could stick it right on top of this as well. Now, I didn't put any extra glue on. Nothing. This actually sticks pretty good. So, there you go. Zoom in for you. And you can take the vacuum to that, clean it all up. If you get a little micro vacuum, but I'll probably just take the airbrush to it and make sure there's no dust in there. Now, doesn't that look good? Let me know down below. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Now, also, while you're down there, might as well check out the links for my Instagram and my Facebook group. Give me a follow on them. You'll see updates and pictures and stuff before a video will come out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell button. Make sure that all notifications are turned on so you don't miss out on anything. Also, if you want to help out the channel in any way, there's 2 ways you can do it now. There is a PayPal me link down there if you want to help and donate directly to the channel. And I have a merch store. So go check that out. There's a link in the description. You can go to my channel and check it out there. Or right below this video, there should be some pictures of shirts and cups and stickers and stuff down there. Either one of those 3 will take you to the link for the Teespring store. And you can purchase something there. So I'm going to do up a few more things on the engine. I still haven't clear coated the hood. I'm planning on it today. The roll bars, front grille, and the bush bar, tailgate, that's all going to get clear coated. I want to get more stuff done on the engine. So when I've got all that, I'll be back. I'll show you where I'm at. Again, let me know down in the comments what you think of that carpeting. If you'd be willing to try it, link for the velvet that I bought will be down in the description. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Okay. Well, I'm not getting pretty much anywhere that I was going to get to in this video. I haven't clear coated nothing, but I have done stuff. So I'm moving forward, but at the same time, I'm going backwards. Hey, this is Pride of Your Country. I got to make, well, in a sense, make my country proud, right? So I've been looking at a whole bunch of things, and well, let me show you here. We're going to get started with the engine first, because I said I was going to get some work done on that. Well, I did get some work done on it. Okay. Now, since this is not a carbureted engine, I made some fuel rails. And let me get a pointer here, wherever it is. There it is. So I've made some fuel rails. So I took some round rod, drilled some pins in it, drilled some holes in the intake, put that one in, put the distributor in. Now, if you can see right about there, I don't know if it's going to zoom in any further. No, that's it. But you can see that I put in an AN fitting right there. And there's one at this end, right? That points kind of down to go underneath. So I also made one for this side. It's the exact same. Now, other stuff I've done is the rad hoses had nowhere to go. So I put one on top of the water pump and one at the front of the block. And that's for the heater hoses, sorry. But the heater hoses will go there and they'll go to the firewall. But same time, the rad hoses had nowhere to go. Now normally you'd have one right on top under here. Well, this is a racing block, I figure, and blah, blah, blah. So I put one on this side of the block up front. That'll go to the rad hose. And then if we look underneath, I got one on the bottom side of the water pump, and that'll go to the lower rad hose. So I got that done. Okay. Take that off for now. Those aren't glued in. I still got to paint them and everything. Now, something else is while I was drilling for these fuel rails, I had it in my vise, and well, I was trying to be careful and not clamp it down too tight, and well, it slipped out of the vise, hit the floor, snapped off the transmission. I do now have it glued back on, but I also had the transfer case on there, if you remember. So I'm going to have to glue that back on as well. Okay, so that's that. Now, remember I said I couldn't find a steering column? And, well, still wasn't able to find it, so I made one. So here's the steering column I made. Let me zoom back in for you. Got that chrome steering wheel. I got to clean it up and paint the outer rim of it. Steering column itself, made the signal light switch. I made the gear selector. I also made the key tumbler. All right. See that? So that's done. While I was at it, the 4x4 shift lever was too boring. So I found a Lego handgun. All right. Just a Lego handgun. And I pinned it to the gear select, or the four-wheel drive shift lever. All right. So that's going to be the four-wheel drive shift lever. So I'll get that all cleaned up, painted, and glued together. Then I started looking. I'm like, well, if I'm going to go that far, I might as well put brakes and stuff on this thing because it doesn't have the nicest, brakes at all. You look at back here, there's nothing for brakes. So I thought, well, a truck lifted this high needs to have axle brakes. So there's one rotor. I'm going to clean it up. I'm also going to put a second rotor on the front, and the front one back here, way down here. I've also got brake calipers for it, right? They actually say Brembo on it. And I've got the brake pads. Here's the brake pads for it. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to end up doing that. Now you see what I mean by going backwards, all right? Now, of course, on the engine, I've got power steering pump. Where's my pulleys? Right here. I've got the power steering pump right here. All right. See it? And I was going to put hoses on it. And I was looking at it going, well, where the hell are those hoses going to go? All right. There's two there, but where do they go? Normally on a Chevy or in most vehicles, there's a gearbox on the side of the frame. But with this thing lifted as high as it is, I would have to have a drop pitman arm and then a link going down to the axle, steering axle, all right, and then your drag link going across to the other side. And to me, that wasn't quite feasible. So now I'm going to be running a hydraulic ram for the steering. So I got a piece of styrene tube and a piece of styrene rod. And that's going to be my hydraulic ram. All right. So to mount that, I had to make this front mounting point for it. So that'll sit there, and it'll go from side to side, and I can run 2 hoses up to the firewall, right? Because the style I'm looking at is actually, the pump is supposed to be behind the dash. So I need 2 hoses from the ram going to the firewall. Then I need 1 hose from the power steering pump up to a reservoir, or actually up to a cooler, which I have. I'll show you in a second. And then from the cooler to the firewall, from the firewall to a reservoir, or to a filter, from the filter to a reservoir, and then from the reservoir back to the pump. So there's lots going on. I'm moving forward, but I'm not moving forward at the same time. I'm just keep adding more work to myself. Now here is what I'm going to use for power steering cooler. It's a radiator or something out of one of the old NASCAR kits. So that'll go there like that. So I am getting somewhere. I am getting things painted. Also, I'm going to be making shocks. Now these rollers are actually out of a printer. I've got 8 of them. All right, so I'm going to clean them up. I'll paint them. Then I'll use a styrene rod, make the shock portion of it, like the shock rod. And then I have a small tube here that I'll use for a top shock mount, and I'll make one for the bottom shock mount. So there'll be 2 shocks per corner. So that's where I'm at. I haven't gone any further on the dash. I haven't done any clear coating yet. That's just the way it goes when you decide that you're going to do a whole bunch of stuff that you should have done in the first place. So if you like what's going on here, let me know down in the comments. I love reading the comments. I don't always get to them all, but I do read them all. So let me know what your thoughts are, if I'm just going nuts or if this is stuff that you would do. Also, give me a follow on my Instagram and my Facebook group. You'll usually see pictures there before videos come out. Also, a big thank you to each and one of my subscribers. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. And hit that bell button and make sure that all notifications are turned on so you don't miss out on anything. And no matter what you're building, it always ends up getting changed somehow, some way. So just keep plugging along and build it your way. And until next time, later.